RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Thursday night edition. Looking forward to connecting, looking forward to finding out what's going on in your world, as well as covering a couple topics that I think is worth touching on, just shining some light on it, trying to navigate these choppy waters. Hope everyone is doing well. And welcome to Livestream. My name is Mike, the host of Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. And if we have any new viewers, let me know where you're watching from in the chat. We'd love to acknowledge your presence. Thank you for being a part of the community. And then when the phone lines open up, 313-462-0027, we'll love to hear from you guys directly. And then also trying to piggyback on what we had last night with the little face-to-face action for those in the community that want to connect with us on screen and have a little back and forth. I enjoyed that last night. Get a chance to hear from you guys directly as well as educate myself. So looking forward to connecting, and give it a second. Make sure the audio is good. So for whatever reason, this particular microphone, it goes in and out. So I'm not sure if I got to replace it or what, but I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm going to try to pay attention to the chat so that if you guys give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down to sound, I can respond faster. But yeah, last couple days had more technical issues than normal, but I'll keep plugging away. Anyway, for those tuning in, man, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. We'd definitely love to hopefully have the algos alert a few more people before we get into today's chat. And so I got about 20 plus or so minutes of trying to put together some pieces of the puzzle and before I welcome people on the screen. So for those that want to connect, let me actually, once again, ripping and running, let me grab a couple links here so I can make sure everybody is able to do that. I realized last night I invited people to connect with me, but didn't have the direct links to make that happen. So let me actually grab them and paste them in the bottom of this video here so you guys can actually go click on the links and get a hold of the, let me grab this real quick, get a hold of the links to join when it's time to connect on the face-to-face side of things. So, all right, let me make sure I'm good here. Okay, so beneath this video right now, there should be some links. So it's the link to the Telegram, which has the link to this, as well as the Discord page for you guys to connect as well. So should be no problems this evening. So let me jump in, man. I got a lot of articles worth, a lot of things worth touching on. And so what caught my attention within the last 2 hours or so was a military exercise that took place in the great state of Michigan, right up here in Alpena, Michigan, where the person who shared the information said that they shut off power and stuff like that, but I don't really think it was that deep. But it was a 5-hour exercise where they shut down the main road and a little bit of that city and trying to land several planes for whatever reason. And so I mentioned with the little hashtag, it's too many military exercises going on right now for just it to be a normal summer exercise type activity. And so based upon an article that was shared last night with all the joint opportunities and on the seas happening around the world, we also have a joint collaboration here in Michigan as well as other countries come in and participate in some on the ground stuff, and the fact that the first modern aircraft touched down on civilian soil on the roadway. It's just like it's one of the things where why like, well, what exactly are they on the clock? Are they preparing for something? What's going on, man? So I'll let you guys come up with what you think, but as I always mention, the clock is ticking towards something that they want to throw at us. So let me stop rambling, get into some articles. So we got Solo checking in. We got Chris. We got King D. We got Tom. So what's the under here? What's that under here? What do we got here? We got Jean. We got New York Redneck. We got Sandra Grace from San Antonio, Texas. We got Queen V checking in. We got, let me see here, Jack from Utah. We got John. Okay, we got John from Ontario. Okay, we got a couple Johns checking in. All right, we got Joshua, Show Enough in the building. We got Midnight Green from Philly. All right, Miles. All right, man, we got a fair amount of people here, man. I appreciate you guys taking time to bless me with your presence, man. It's always good to be able to connect with like-minded individuals these days because let me just, before I get into some articles here, I've had a chance to thumb through some of the comments to some of the videos over the last couple of days, and boy, let me tell you, people are trying to give me the business, calling me fake news, fake this, Mike, you're scaring people. You have no facts to prove all this. I'm like, dude, I didn't say nothing about facts. This is all one man's opinion based upon using something called critical thinking, putting all these circumstances together and just giving out some possibilities of what could be. And as I always say, and as I'm going to say tonight, I hope I'm 100% wrong. I would be willing to humble myself and just say, hey, I got it wrong. Forgive me. But once again, this is more of a edutainment show, not a solely education, not solely entertainment. I just want to provide information, bounce some ideas off you guys, let you process it. You do what you got to do with it. But once again, I'm not backing this up with science and data and research. This is just stuff I gather based upon what I think is going to occur. And we talk this stuff through. So I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. And for all my people out there, primarily the couple people I did reply to, I just referred them to an important video that hopefully, if you're open-minded, just being able to hear two sides of the story. There's two sides to the story. And so if you're open to opposing viewpoints, then I would recommend that you go to rumble.com, and I'll actually pull it up on the screen real quick. And because I had a chance to connect with Rice Crypto earlier for an interview, and I was telling, just talking to his audience and telling them how you might want to check out that video with David E. Martin. So I'll pull it up here so you guys can see. So I'm going to do this early. I'm going to do this early in the show so people can actually see what I'm talking about here. So if you go to rumble.com and you type in David E. Martin, and this video right here has 33,000 views. It's about an hour and a half long. And in that, he breaks out research. He gives you facts and stats of everything. You can go Google yourself and you'll be fine. So just a manufactured illusion, Dr. David Martin with Rainer Folfmick. So that interview right there will give you, bring a pad and a pen, take your notes, and then go Google everything he says as far as the U.S. patents for everything that they've concocted, everything they're throwing at us, and then come back and let me know how far-fetched I am. So anyway, I'm going to get off that. But anyway, for those welcome to the channel, let's talk. Looking forward to connecting. As I mentioned, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Let's dive into a couple articles here. And so, like I mentioned, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Something's going on. These are just not normal conditions because they're turning up the heat. They're turning up the heat in the kitchen, trying to really put the smackdown on everybody as much as they can. Everything that Biden's doing, in a sense, or trying to do, or what the mainstream media is telling us he's trying to do, has more to do with removing from us than allowing us to live our lives without intervention from Big Brother. And so I want to just start off with this article last night real quick. It says the biggest U.S. Navy war games in 40 years. So this is the Suns, the Suns.com. So this is just all this activity happening in the waters right now. For what reason? All these military activities. Let you read the title. And then what caught my attention is something that's in my own neck of the woods that I didn't know about, which has been going on, and it ends on August 14th. And so this is the Northern Strike. So it's a Northern Strike operation returns to Northern Michigan. And so here it just says Northern Strike is one of the Department of Defense's largest reserve component readiness exercises, and is scheduled to take place July 31st through August 14th. So that's a 2-week window, right around the same time that I mentioned that, we got maybe a week or two, give or take, before we hear something that, try to move us backwards towards another shutdown type of situation. Coincidence. It's just coincidence. It says 5,100 participants from various states and countries will converge at the National All-Domain Warfighting Center for training focused on expeditionary skills, command, control, and sustainment, and joint integration fires. So this says the training area consists of 148,000 acres. Okay. And then a video I saw earlier was about this. Michigan Air Guard to make history with the landing exercise near Alpena. So this is the Air National Guard, and Lieutenant Colonel, whoever, says this is believed to be the first time in history that modern Air Force aircraft have intentionally landed on a civilian roadway on U.S. soil. And the video that I pulled that little clip from, let me pull up here. It's one of them things where, as I mentioned, just too many exercises. And so some people can dismiss this as just being some regular protocol that happens all the time, or is there more to the equation? So that's something I want to put out there to you guys, because I think it's just worth talking about. Like, it's no right or wrong. We'll find out, but it's not just mere coincidence that, let me see, I'm sure Air Force landing. There's a couple videos out there not really getting much attention. So I would assume. So I type in. So let me pull this on screen. So I typed in real quick. I typed in Alpena, Michigan, U.S. Air Force landing. So this is a highway about maybe 4 or 5 hours from me north. And you got military troops out there. They close off this highway and basically shut the town down for 5 hours while they trained how to land aircrafts on highways. Why? So what type of environment would we be in to where you got to actually land an aircraft? Typically, those things probably carry bombs or something like that. But what's the probability of landing something like that on your local highway? So I assume if it's happening in Michigan, it's probably happening in your neck of the woods too. But they're practicing landing, coming in, you name it. Take it for what it's worth. But as I mentioned, it's too many exercises going on for my good, for my, just for me. But I could just be that type of guy. Anyway, keep it moving. Here is something worthwhile. It says Florida Governor Ron DeSantis feuds with the White House as the cases rise. President Biden asks the GOP governors to get out of the way. So here's a question: get out of the way for what? So is that hinting at the possibility if you actually got out of the way, we could continue our Build Back Better initiative of taking us back towards making sure we force things upon people, or what? So I can read into that several ways. Let me know how you read that, how you decipher that. But if you get out of our way, we can have our way, and we can basically continue to destroy this country without resistance. So right now, based upon this article here, with the GOP governors deciding to go against the grain in Florida, in Texas, and other, Mississippi, Alabama, more than likely, they possibly could be slowing things down, which could force the orchestrators of this experience to either go to plan B, try to go around, or this could be a part of the narrative. You guys let me know. My personal opinion is that there might be some individuals out there that want to slow things down because they recognize where this is heading. And so hopefully this is legit and genuine to where Governor DeSantis stepping up, basically just refuting the whole concept of cases. Because when you think about it, at this current moment, what exactly is a case? And who's actually out there testing to confirm these cases? We know the testing is fraudulent as ever, but yet they ignore that. And they're still pumping the idea of cases. I saw something on Twitter this morning that said we have 100,000 cases, I think, in this country. And it's the highest spike of cases since like last summer or early this year or something like that. And I was reading through the thread, and it probably had maybe a couple hundred different responses. And an overwhelming majority of those responses were, yeah, right, you can't trust the cases, skip them. We're not locking down. We're not going back. And then it's every 8 or 6 or 7, it was one person saying, it's those people who haven't participated. It's their fault. We should da-da-da. But a good portion of the people in that thread was not having it. And that's a good sign, because people are waking up to the fact that we've been bamboozled, people. We've been lied through, and the truth is coming out. Now it's a matter of, will the truth prevail right now, or will they go on the defense? And as I always say, the possibility of them creating some type of event only increases, because if they are losing control, they're not going to give it up. So they're going to cause something. And I was talking earlier on the interview I did with Chris Rice Crypto about I'm just more just, they meaning the orchestrator of this entire experience, they have too much to lose to let this thing slip, because they have a time frame to stick to. And so that's why I always would anticipate some type of event in the form of a false flag event, but it's going to be real, all right, because every event we've had, this a staged event, unfortunately comes with large amounts of casualties, of lives lost. So it's unfortunate, but that's just where we're at. So basically, if you are awake and aware, if you see anything in your neck of the woods suspicious, something don't smell right, it's your job to go on social media, record that, call people out, record as much as you can, use social media to expose the darkness that they try to hide and try to mingle in with the crowd. All right, so here's another one here. Let me grab this. Why is this acting up on me? And so give me 1 second here, and I'll get this article up here, because I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on it. But it looks like 2030, is the time frame that this current pretender and thief mentioned as being the time for electric cars. And so, not quite sure how that will play out, given that, you know, if people are not able to, really, secure their financial futures, that means they're going to have to keep this economy definitely inflated or something, because who's going to be really thinking about going out and buying a new electric car to appease some type of, carbon punishment they're going to try to have on humanity? And you factor in order to get an electric car, more than likely it's going to be a smart car, which plays into their whole, connectivity to the Internet of Things, as well as, your phone, your car, your house, your keys, your doorbell, your ring. So yeah, solely going smart is like you're paying to be enslaved. Anyway, it says Biden sets goal for 50% of new U.S. vehicles to be electric by 2030. Me personally, I'm more old school in nature. I'm more old school, where I prefer a car minus all the bells and whistles and gadgets, because the gadgets, of course, come with complications, and I don't like the idea of a computer being able to drive my car. That's just me. But some people out there, are different. But I'm not in a rush to go solely digital, 100%, with everything I do in my life. It's bad enough the telephones are spying on us. And to piggyback on another article here, for all my iPhone lovers, it says Apple plans to scan U.S. iPhones for child abuse imagery. So how many of my iPhone lovers out there, mind you, I'm not an iPhone lover. I don't mess with iPhones. I've never joined the bandwagon. But how many of my iPhone lovers out there don't mind being told that they're going to scan your phone for child abuse imagery, as if that's just going to be it? And so, to me personally, I've always believed that all, centrally controlled operating systems have back doors in it. So what are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? So will you ignore it? Will you do something about it? Majority of people, well, I ain't got nothing to hide. Okay, no big deal. But once again, it starts with that same idea of just rolling something out there, and then they then they didn't really tell you what's really going on. But anyway, so I was talking earlier about, got a de-Googled phone, just with the illusion of being able to opt out of the system. So if there's any way that you can opt out of outright surveillance, please take advantage of that, because you're not only doing it for your own privacy, what little there is, but then also it keeps the movement alive of people who enjoy the idea of privacy and having the choice to do things behind closed doors and out in public, perhaps without actually having to get permission or being seen. That's just me. I could be the only one, but let me know. What else? Let's keep moving. Let me see here. So, what we got here? Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so let me open the phone lines there. Open up the phone lines. I missed a couple calls. And then at 10 p.m., let's try to stay on the dial tonight. We're going to have a little face-to-face time. I really enjoy getting a chance to hang out with the community. So for those who want to join me face-to-face only, the links are below in the Discord section and the Telegram groups where you can connect with me directly. All right, let's get to this call here. Let me get this. Hello, caller. Which name are we calling from?
My name's Obi. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Obi from Carolina. How you doing, my friend? Give me a quick thought. What's in your mind tonight?
Doing good, man. But everything that's going on, all roads lead to the microchip, the mark of the beast, man. This is why they got everything going digital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the end all be all, man.
Yeah. Now the question is, will it be slow, or will this thing be drawn out for some years, possibly a decade plus? So what are you thinking?
No, this is coming fast. Keep in mind, out of everybody that have suffered lockdowns, there's only one country that hasn't been locked down, and that's Sweden.
Yeah. Point.
Because Sweden is already chipped up.
Yeah. Or they're already cashless predominantly, but I get your point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But far as time, man, this thing is right around the corner, man. Right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, hey, appreciate you calling, man, and sharing your 2 cents, boss, man. Thank you for calling.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Be good. Yeah, good stuff, man. Yeah, the wheels are in motion, man. We are heading towards that predetermined future that they meaning the principalities and powers that be at work, is trying to steer us towards. But be of good cheer, my friend. We are and will overcome in the end. We will win. And so, speaking of which, I want to talk about just something I was talking about earlier about, quantum, the words quantum financial system, quantum computers, quantum, and then here's quantum chips. And so this piggybacks on a little bit of a rant from earlier about, the technology and the capability of the current level of technology is there. And so by him talking about the chips and stuff like that, that is what we believe and what we're told. But I believe that all that technology is already ripe and ready to go. It's just they just have to figure out how to fully implement it globally, because some countries may be further than others, but yet they got to strip away our freedom, strip away our arms, and strip away our ability to think independently, and then they'll be able to roll out all that other stuff with ease, because out of sheer desperation, I think people will be willing to accept anything that offers them hope. But this is something I just typed in quantum chip because I was thinking about quantum stuff earlier. It says MIT engineers develop a hybrid process that connects photonics with artificial atoms to produce the largest quantum chip of its type. So this is like a couple days ago, July last month, but photonics, I'm not even sure what that is, with artificial atoms. So these people are playing with the molecular structure of tangible things. Like, we're made up of protons, neutrons, atoms, and the carbon molecules of our body, water, all that stuff like that. These cats are playing with this at the cellular level to where this quantum chip here is I'm sure is extra small, but yet mighty powerful and can do a lot of computing power. That's the stuff that's out there right now. Like, yeah. Anyway, so let's talk, man. Phone lines are open. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Throw out a question, take some phone calls, and then we're going to open up the face-to-face and get a chance to hang out, and we can see where we go with it. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve, FEMA Region 9.
Steve, how you doing, my friend?
Good. Hey, you're doing the Mario show tomorrow?
Tomorrow, no, due to scheduling conflict. We're going to do it on Saturday at noon.
Okay, excellent. Hey, I just dropped the email to you there.
Yeah.
Regarding UK. He's from the UK, right?
Yes.
Okay. About their FEMA camps. I just dropped it in your box before the show started. And if you can post it to the community, that's fine too. It's about a 7-minute video.
Yeah.
This young lady, I guess they call them prison towns or something over there.
All right. Well, no, go ahead.
Yeah. Basically, she used Google Earth and she zoomed in on this one that's being built right now. Mm-hmm. And I guess right next to the FEMA camp, there's a crematoria.
Yeah. So
I want to see what Mario had to say about that, etc.
Yeah. So I saw this. Somebody sent me this a couple weeks ago. So I forwarded this to him a couple weeks ago. So he has seen it already. So, but it was some eye-opening stuff because they're building these facilities, and then of course she actually showed a Google map, and so right here next to it,
correct,
is I got it on the screen right now, the crematorium right next to the facilities they're building. So question is, like, what are they planning on? Like, who are they going to house there, and why do they have to have the crematorium right next door to that facility? So, but I get your drift.
Exactly, and I guess they call them residents. They'll be called residents.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be housed in that particular. That's not a resort type of residence. Yeah, sickening stuff, man.
No,
man.
Anyway, I'll close out with this. Basically, that Matthew 24:34. Verily I say unto you, mm-hmm. This generation shall not pass until all these things be fulfilled.
Good stuff, man.
And, anyway,
appreciate you.
Enjoy the show. Take care.
Yeah, be good.
Bye.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like, and that's what the power of the internet to reveal the evil one's plans out in plain sight. Like that facility there that I just had on the screen. It's nothing about that is like warm and fuzzy. Like, why would the UK government, and amongst all the chaos they're going through, be building these massive? That's just one. They're building a lot more around UK. Who are they going to put in them things? Will be the question I'll put out there. But people probably think I'm a conspiracy theorist and say, oh, they're going to put your everyday Joe that don't participate in those things and think I'm crazy. Like, so I just stuff I wonder. Anyway, hello, caller. Where we calling from?
Hey, Mike, how's it going? This is Charles Avalena.
Charles, how you doing, my man? What's going on with you?
I'm pretty good, man. I wanted you to check out on the FCC's website. They have an emergency, I have a sore throat. They have an emergency broadband benefit that they launched back in May of this year. And I'm not sure if you covered it already, but basically what they've done is anybody who was affected by COVID-19 or the pandemic and their internet or their data services went down, they qualify for $50 to $100 grant from the government to pay for them to stay online and be connected.
Okay, so I heard about it, never dived into it. Give it to me again. Where can I go to grab that? We'll give you some words again.
Yeah, it's the FCC's website, but you can just Google emergency broadband benefit.
Okay, emergency.
Emergency
broadband benefit. Broadband benefit. Okay, so I saw something about getting Biden bucks for the internet, but I never broadband benefits. I never dive into it, but so let me pull this on the screen here. So interesting. So this is from the FCC.gov. So emergency broadband benefit will provide a discount of up to $50 per month towards broadband service for eligible households and up to. So I wonder what's eligible under what is it under 100,000 or something like that. And up to $75 per month for households or qualifying tribal lands. Interesting.
So you ever see the Pell Grant? If you make under $99,000 a year, if your child gets free lunch. So they're trying to cover every demographic they can to get people to stay online. For whatever reason they be, I don't know.
That's something about. It says experienced a substantial loss of income due to job loss or furlough since February 29, 2020, and the household had an income in 2020 at or below $99,000 for a single filer or $198,000 for joint filers. You qualify.
So you're pretty much trying to get everyone connected at some level.
Yeah. So okay. So so just put your tinfoil hat on and let me know what first thing came to your mind when you saw that. Just be honest. Be upfront with us.
Amber alerts, rally alerts. I can send you a screenshot if you want. The CDC's called me 3 times to get the COVID-19 vaccine. 3 times already. Exactly. So if they can't reach you by phone, they know you have data if they're paying for this. Okay, so basically, if we're paying for you to have data, you will answer your phone. You will log onto your PC or phone or TV whenever we need you to get this emergency alert. We're paying for it. So guess what?
Interesting. So they're subsidizing people to get them online so they'll always be able to have access to them, because once again, whatever we give you, that gives us right now to say, hey, you're taking our funds, so we're going to come and okay. So with all that, like the PPP loans, I think there's going to be some modifications to PPP loans pretty soon. They're going to start doing some auditing for people who took it. And if you don't lay off or force your people to participate, you're going to have to get audited and return those funds. And guess what all those small businesses are going to be forced to do? Or go out of business and still have to pay that funds back.
You have to close the doors completely because the PPP loans, in my opinion, that was just a way. That was a way to give people an excuse to stay in business, keep money going for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Now, how they did it and how you got it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the system was abused. But I mean, I tell anybody like this: if corruption wasn't built into the system, people like Bernie Madoff wouldn't have existed. Pyramid schemes wouldn't exist.
Good point.
Yeah, cryptocurrency wouldn't exist. The Fed Reserve wouldn't exist. The dollar wouldn't exist. This Ponzi scheme we call loans, it wouldn't. None of this stuff would exist because all this stuff is built to extract as much as they can from us, whether it be through data, whether it be through wealth, whether it be through physicality, which is the jab.
Right.
So.
Hey, man, appreciate you for calling, my friend. Thanks for bringing that insight to us. I heard about it, but wasn't aware of it, but appreciate you for bringing it to us.
Oh, no problem. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. All right, people, it's time to open up the phone lines, do a little face-to-face action. I'm excited to connect with my guy here, Mr. Rice Crypto. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Long time no see, partner.
Oh, definitely. It's only been a couple hours, huh?
Exactly. So appreciate you for hanging out with us, man. So as I mentioned to you, we had a great conversation early on your channel, Rice TV. So I want to continue it on tonight, and then of course offer a couple other people to join us as well. So if you're interested in joining us, the links and stuff is below. But I'm not sure if you had a chance to hear that last call about me. So he was basically saying the government subsidizing, giving basically everybody would qualify for an internet subsidy of $50 to $100. And of course, I like to take that information and process it in a different way. So I'm thinking like they want to subsidize you so they can always have claims to you. So what are your thoughts about that, man? Is that surprising to you or what?
No, it's not surprising at all. And when I was listening to it, the first thing that I thought about was the government phones, what people call the Obama phones.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of your low income people tend to be in the hood trap, and you might have some drug dealings going on utilizing those phones.
Yeah.
And so it's an additional way just to kind of keep tabs on individuals. So no, It does not surprise me, because I mean, the internet is something that we shouldn't be paying for anyways. I see some really awesome technologies that are out, light fidelity, where you can take what do they call it? The LED lights, and they emit like a small binary signal. You can't even notice it with your eyes, and light would just give you internet. And if you didn't have light, you wouldn't have internet. I'll send you a link on it, but it's really cool technology. There's a guy named, I think it's Charles Haas or something to that effect. He's Swedish, and did a couple TED Talks and shows like how the technology actually works, where you could just use like street lights, and it's just a matter of just changing the technology. So it's not really a huge cost factor, because it would just be like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't upgrade. I think it's faster than regular internet.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, so that level of technology they don't want us to have, and that's the idea of there's free energy. Like there's more than enough technology out there that's been hidden and suppressed that could have made society so much better for everybody. There's more than enough to go around for everybody had that been the original agenda. But yet, of course, due to the evil nature of man with greed and just the fact they think they need to depopulate the earth, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, these control agendas definitely come into play when you think about it, and it's very 1984 George Orwell, almost Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, or kind of a hybrid of the two.
Yeah.
And then kind of almost leaning in an area of the movie Idiocracy, which I'm not sure if you've seen that.
I have not, no.
What is the guy's name? It's Terry Crews, the comedian. He plays the president in this movie. Basically, what happens, without me giving away like all the specifics, is just over a little bit of time, people have been dumbed down. And there was a guy from our time period that was military. Military was looking like for the most average male they could find. And they froze this individual, and he woke up in the future where everybody was stupid and he was really smart. It's a really interesting movie, and it's the world became very corporatized. It's a hilarious movie, Idiocracy, dude. If you've never seen it, you're gonna have to watch it, and it's gonna make you laugh, and you need to laugh around these times.
Now, watch me ask you a question. So earlier we're talking about sci-fi and how I say, they took the fiction out of science. I mean, they're taking the fiction out of science just because they're trying to make everything a reality. So what about the idea of the time machine? Because they're trying to play with the they're trying to do anything they can to be God. So they're gonna try it. And I think that quantum stuff we talked about earlier plays into how they might uncover that. And how about of course, most people are afraid to die, so they're trying to prolong life by finding that genome sequence that can prolong things. Do you think that's something that is something we're going to see, or something they already have? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, so you got some people talk about the idea that we live in a simulated reality. And I've also been trying to look at things more in like a computer code perspective. Not that I'm a coder, but just like some things have less lines of code than other things. So it really doesn't honestly, man, after 2020, like I'm just not surprised by anything anymore. Period. Like, I've said it in past videos. Like, I'm waiting for aliens or little baby Jesus or something, you know, because it just it's like we're being set up for, like, you know, when you're watching fireworks, you're always waiting at the very end for that grand finale, and it's like we're being set up for this grand play that's right about to go down.
Yeah, now that grand finale, I haven't thought of that analogy before, I don't think. So is that grand finale, is it going to be a single event, a chain of events? We got 4 months left in this year. Will we see a finale, not the grand, but finale, or just give us some thoughts? And of course, I got the tinfoil here, so if you can put your tinfoil if you need to. We go that far sometimes on this channel.
Have you ever been to like a rich community on 4th of July where you have multiple houses fighting for like firework domination?
I heard about
like
stuff like
trying
that.
To outdo each other with fireworks.
Yeah, or anything in life. But yeah, go ahead.
If you go to like the city fireworks, it's like your grand finale is kind of like your money shot. You're done and your deal. It's done. But when you go to like a rich community and you see all these rich individuals that are trying to compete against each other and put on a better show, you end up having this prolonged grand finale. So that's what I see it more like. So a bunch of events that together,
but working towards their own mutual goal together. Yes. Like we may have an Asian agenda, a Russian agenda, globalist, deep state agenda. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about when you start going down these rabbit holes, you start to learn that it's just all one big hole. You start to learn that all this stuff is interconnected. Everything that, you know, we've talked about when we streamed earlier on my channel, it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
Everything is, and it's like, it's really insane when you think about it. And if this is something that has been well planned out and it's been orchestrated, you got some smart individuals who have put out a well thought plan that they've been very patient to organize, that's worked out exactly how they wanted it to. And then they're feeding information through entertainment that could be truth, you know, some of it to desensitize people, to get people familiar with things. I mean, do you think that really at this point people are going to freak out unless they attack us? Do you think people will freak out if we have extraterrestrials come to our planet?
I think it would definitely rattle a lot of people, but we're being primed now with all that UFO talk. So you would only assume that all those UFOs, they have something or someone inside of them.
So it won't be as impactful.
Yeah. So it'll be a little bit of a shock, but it's like, you know, it'll rattle the majority, but not those that are awake and aware. Yeah.
And the government is definitely trying to do as much as they can to get people to be, what's the word I'm looking for? The correct word. Kind of like they really want people to be attached to the government. They want people to need them, so that they can provide for them, so that they can tell them what they can and cannot do.
Yeah. And speaking of UFOs and stuff like that, I think it was somebody, Mama Bear out there, put Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam. So I typed in that just real quick, and it's literally labeled, you know, conspiracy to the far right on Rational Wiki. So just, you know, the Blue Project Bluebeam is the idea of them being able to project from satellites, you know, images in the sky to portray the illusion of a craft or something like that. So just, you know, whatever it's worth.
While we're talking, let me see if I can find a link of something just that will blow you away. Let's see here.
Yeah. And then speaking of which, for those that's checking out, you know, we're having a little open session. So feel free to join us. You know, I want to make sure I open up to the community because, you know, more brain power together is better than just one or two. So feel free to join us. The link is in the description if you guys want to hang out with us. And we can talk about a little bit of everything, man. Somebody say holograms.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting into. What are those? I'm drawing a blank on the name of those little flying devices people use.
So somebody says, it really says like the movie Spider-Man. I think the last edition. Did you see one of the last movies where they had the illusion of the sky? They had the cloud, the fake clouds, the smoke, and it had the little small robots that projected images all together, made it look like it was a monster. So it was something around those lines of a hologram.
I would think that Guinness World Book of Records should be safe as far as being open content that you could share without having any sort of issues.
Mm-hmm. So I say drones.
Send you a link. I couldn't remember the name for drones. I'm like, what are those little flying things that we fly around? Those little flying crafts.
All right, you pop this open.
So this is and this is all done with drones.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Unmanned aerial vehicles. Man. Okay, I've seen some of these light shows. So I just using drones, making light shows. But these are.
Yeah, but I think they can actually kind of like put stuff together and make it look more like real things.
Yeah. So these are like these probably are like kids. These young guys look like these are all young kids. So imagine
fast forward to like a minute in.
Let me cut it down a little bit. A minute in. So
all
yeah.
you gotta really do is just fill in all those little blank spaces there.
Or put a lot of smoke up there, make it look like some thunder and some.
Yeah, I mean, like really, and that's supposed to be a replica of the Chinese space station, or I don't know if China has a space station, or if they're planning on doing a space.
You know what's interesting about that is I'm not sure if this is a sped up clip, but I'd assume they cut the lights off, form their new structures, then the lights come on, and then you see a new image. So, yeah, man. And that's like these are with DJI Phantoms, you know.
So yeah, these aren't like super. Imagine military grade like drones. You know, if you're talking about, I know that we've heard on the news about mechanical robotic mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So if they can come up with something that small, then why couldn't they take? And if they could do that kind of stuff with those kind of drones.
Mm-hmm.
Then imagine increasing the technology. Imagine it from a military perspective, and you get a spaceship.
Yeah.
You got Jesus. I mean, you can have Jesus coming back.
You can have any image in it. Yeah. So watch this. So that video I was talking about earlier that I did a little rant on about one of the doctors that mentioned in his lifestyle what he's been a part of, what he's helped develop, and he was calling off stuff that is extremely advanced, and he was saying how he actually. And this is, believe it if you want to, but he's saying he actually came in contact with an alien craft. And, so the young lady who interviewed him was telling his story based upon a discussion they had behind the scenes. And he was saying just by merely having a chance to touch it, the AI, which is what controls that craft, it itself is like one of the most sophisticated, one of the most advanced. And I think our U.S. military governments are the ones that try to copy and clone from those crafts and reproduce from them or whatever. So that we have the technologies based on what I'm getting at. If what he was saying was anywhere near truth or whatever, but he was saying that after merely touching it, he had a bond with the damn thing to where it knew him. And I'm thinking like, what the hell is that? But
with the UFO sightings and all the information coming out from the Pentagon, if there's not extraterrestrials, then there's definitely technology or technology that we have that's not available or is publicly known.
Yeah, very true.
It's one of the two. It's either ET's coming to visit or
ET's already here.
Well,
ET's amongst us.
Combination of or the military has just gotten to that point where the technology is advanced to a degree that they've manipulated the situation. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. We can go, man. There's so many rabbit holes we can go down, and it's just one of the things where I hope it's wrong. I hope it's not true, but yet I'm not gonna hold my breath and pretend that it's not here. And so that's why I'm down that rabbit hole now, being able to talk about a little bit of everything, because we don't know what's real, what's fake. Like with the technology they have, they can prevent an image in front of us, and we just don't know. That's why I think the spiritual element and having faith comes into play to hopefully discern.
Yeah, discernment. Yeah, because I mean, like, just even with all the health rhetoric that's going out, there's a lot of contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really just somebody who wants to know what is going on,
mm-hmm.
it's legitimately hard if you're listening to a lot of different things, because you're going to have so many different contradictory sources, even from within the same organizations.
Yeah.
I mean, we've as far as masks for children, we need it. They're not needed. They're needed. All these just different things that people are saying that just, you've got Fauci and his group of scientists that say science is this way.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have these other scientists that are saying science is this way. And it's like, well, which one is right?
Mm-hmm.
Is somebody pretending like they're scientists and act like, because lawyers are acting attorneys and doctors are acting physicians.
Yeah.
What's going on in the chat?
So people are just getting in. So I want to reintroduce you again. So we got Rice Crypto hanging out with us, and so I invited them to come hang out with us. So it's open forum. So if anybody want to join to just talk some crazy talk or talk about some real world events, you guys let us know. So I want to make sure I give the community a chance to let their voice be heard. So I'll actually put the link in the chat so you guys can see it directly. So if anybody want to join in and just have a little fun and talk things through, man, it'd be worthwhile. So one thing I want to talk about that I did not talk about earlier, which I figure we could talk about, is that, let me see here. I got a little video here. No, where's it at? I do not have it here. But based upon some rumors floating around, based upon Biden's health staff, they're talking about enforcing people to have participated in order to come into this country, which means you got to be fully participated to come into this country. And I'm thinking like, okay, so that's their way of setting the stage to where governments are going to also require the same for citizens in the U.S. to be able to go outside. So they're trying to create that narrative of like, in order to come in the U.S. to protect our own people, you got to make sure you're participated, fully vaxxed. But then again, all governments will be forced to then put it on the other foot, where if we try to leave to go anywhere, they're going to make us also have to. So,
yeah, but the border crossings, from what I'm understanding, and I'm not there to see it firsthand, but from what I'm understanding is that they're not requiring any sort of test to come into the US.
Mexico is like cool, but here, like 30 minutes from my house, 20 minutes from my house, Canadian border, you got to be fully.
Yeah, well, Canada's turned into China. I mean,
so right now we only got we only got two bordering countries.
Memo because China bought Canada from the Queen of England, and the memo just forgot to get sent out.
And Trudeau's definitely playing into the hands of his or their owners, their lords, or whatever, however it's called. Yeah, so I hear like we got some people in the community from Canada, man, and the fact there's certain districts still on lockdown. And they've been on lockdown ever since, man. And so Australia, it's like, wow.
Canada, they've got it crazy. And I'm actually friends with Justin Trudeau's brother.
Really?
Different fathers, but same mother. So Justin's father died, and then his mother remarried. And Justin was like 12 when my friend was born. He's been on my show a couple times. He's actually, he's out.
He's up in Canada now, or is he in the States, or what? Where's he?
He's in the States now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is he close with his brother?
He doesn't agree with his brother at all. Same as Kyle Kemper. People can check out the videos over on Rice TVX, and I think I have a Kyle Kemper playlist. But the last video that we did, I don't know, I want to say like within less than 6 months ago or so, maybe. He's talking about his brother and how he feels about everything. It's been leading up, like somewhere around mid 2020, maybe April, June, or between April and June, somewhere in that time period. It should be a playlist for Kyle Kemper. If there's not, just search for Kyle.
Okay.
I had to reorganize my channel after they deleted some of my videos.
Yeah, so for those that may not know, Rice TV, just put that in there. You'll come up, he'll pop up.
It'll come up either way with Rice Crypto, Rice TV, Rice TVX. It should all come up.
And that's the thing, like with your channel, I noticed a shift over the last year or so, going from, pretty much focusing on the economy / crypto sector to getting into some topics that obviously the algorithms didn't think you should be going down that rabbit hole.
I'm still doing the other though.
I
still am covering the other stuff though. I just added extra elements is all.
So let me ask you a question. And we ain't got to use any key, we don't have to use any key buzzwords, but out of all your rabbit hole venturing, what's some of the most revealing things that you've uncovered that was like a aha moment for you in your journey of interviewing people and diving down rabbit holes?
Excuse me. I mean, economically wise, I mean, talking to people like George Gammon and even like G. Edward Griffin, who's wrote The Creature from Jekyll Island, and just really getting a better perspective on things that I've been learning from the people I've been learning them from, but directly.
Yeah.
And then the law stuff, the whole status correction, that has been very eye-opening for me. And while I was talking to you, I found the link to the last video that I did with Kyle.
All right, I'll put it up here.
That way you can see what he looks like. He's kind of like a kind of hippie-ish, but he's not hippie necessarily. He's into crypto and stuff, but he's really cool, free-spirited dude. He's married, got a couple kids. His wife is American. Yeah. So okay, that's him right there. And if you look up Kyle Kemper, you'll see that he's Justin's brother. Yeah, it's really interesting. Some of the people I end up coming across and meeting. Yeah, and becoming even friends with. You know, it's not often you can say stuff like that about people in those. It's like saying you're Donald Trump's brother's friend. Yeah. I mean, it's a similar position, not exactly the same. He's not like Justin's a president of Canada, but it's kind of a similar parallel position. And I told you before that I'm trying to form like this mastermind alliance amongst a lot of these teachers in the legal fiction, status correction space, and also some other individuals in the freedom space. Yeah. And Kyle is one that I asked, and he has agreed. So he's completely cool with it. So I think, you know, having somebody like him adds like a little bit more clout, because, you know, it's like, you know, such and such Justin Trudeau's brother is part of so and so, and it makes it shows a little bit more seriousness, I think, on some of the parts that we're doing, like what we're going to be trying to put together. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, definitely, you know, interested in finding out more, just because there's certain subject matter just why I just don't have time to cover everything. Like, and that's why I try to reach out to different people in their different niches and try to get some understanding. But man, it's like people say, Mike, check this out, check this channel out. I'm like, man, I can't check all these channels out and try to make content. It's just not possible. That's so when I started shifting over and adding in the extra element, everything was good for I think here's a question for you right here. Oh, Ethan's a good friend of mine. He comes on my show quite often. I think we're doing something Sunday at 1:00 p.m. Shannon, but not 100% sure. So just stay tuned. All right, good deal. All right, what was I saying? I smell herb in my herbs. It'll pop back in. It was so watch this. So for those tuning in, you know, just because we haven't had anybody else to join. And so throw out some topics in the chat, man. I'm curious. I can definitely throw them out to Chris, or I'll touch on them and we can share our 2 cents on it. But what else are you guys keeping an eye on? Feel free to throw it out there in the chat and I'll jump on it and we'll talk about it a little bit. Or, you know, give us a call. I'm sure, Chris, you won't mind taking a phone call, do you? No. All right, no, so I'm good till like close to 11, but I gotta be done definitely by 11. Yeah, because like last night we were almost 2 hours, and caught me by surprise. So I was like, you know, my cap, I try to stay at an hour, but I'll probably be willing to go over today. But yeah, I get talked along with you can't. I lose my train of thought. I just start saying any damn thing after a while. And actually, when you're saying that too, you know, I'll tell you, this is something that I've noticed recently. When you're able to get lost in the moment and forget about time, those are the moments that we got to cherish. Even the ones when you're on stream and you're on stream for 2 hours, you're like, damn, I thought I was on for an hour. It's like, well, that's precious. Yeah, very true. And I relate that same concept to like real world experiences. Like, you know, if you're doing something where you lose track of time, that's what you're probably supposed to be doing, because obviously it's not tedious to you, it's not considered work, it's like you enjoy it. So I feel that I dig that one. Yeah, I dig that. And so no, one thing in regards to shooting, you know, doing videos is that I'm conscious of like just the replay. Most people don't stick around for the entire thing, so I want to make sure that it's worth your time to stick around, but then also it's beneficial for just the channel itself, with dealing with the algorithms, because
if you don't watch the mainstream, it may not pop up for you to rewatch it in the future. So it's like nobody will see it. My channel, of course, the algorithm is not too favorable for me anyway. So
Shannon was asking the question. I just want to tell her I've been looking at a lot of different processes, but I still haven't figured out which method I want to take and what the differences truly are between the methods to correct our status, because there's a lot of Supreme Court stuff and a lot of court cases that talk about there being two statuses, two citizenships. And that was kind of something we were talking about a little bit on the show earlier, Mike, that I think we got on a tangent on, is the 14th Amendment. For the Black community, a lot of people hate the African American word community. So I don't know if I should say African American community or Black.
I just say for individuals that are melanated. I just keep it simple, like, you know, because melanated. I've been bugging on. I've been tripping on that a lot lately, just because I don't like to use white, black. I'm not black. I'm brown. So just all those words. I mean, how we use our words, man. To me, it's a label, and I don't like to be labeled like that. So I am melanated, though. I got about a lot more melanin in my skin than you do, but yeah, you're melanated as well. No, you're not albino. Albino is 0 melanin. You have at least probably 1 degree. I got 7, 8 degrees.
Yeah. But what I was getting at was it was created when after the Civil War and after slavery was supposedly abolished, because there wasn't a status at the time for the newly freed slaves. Yeah. But prior to that, apparently, at that time, anybody who wasn't a slave was a state citizen, because each state was considered technically its own nation, having its own constitution and government. So our United States is more of a confederation of nations. It's actually more like the United Nations than the actual United Nations. When you think about it, because it's, instead of us, the states are all individual nations. So I'm thinking correcting your status and shedding the U.S. citizen part of it is a big part of the equation. But when people are looking into the stuff from common law, trust and equity, stuff from the SPC side, the UCC side, and that's like special party creditor and uniform commercial code for people who are like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It's just different forms of law. And instead of, and I mentioned this earlier on the show that we did together, instead of specializing and focusing on one area, we need to look at all these different things as various tools in our tool belt and use them appropriately and accordingly to what the situation demands. Because not every situation using the same specialized form of law is going to work in every situation, and it's not possible. So being well-rounded with that education, and since the time of your father and my father, since that time period, people have progressed in knowledge in that area. So where some people may have had some things right, there was a lot of things that were missing, and a lot of those missing pieces, I think, have come to fruition, but no one is really putting them together, because all these teachers want to get egotistical, like they have all the answers themselves and no one else has the answer. They're the only one who could do this right. The guy that we were talking about off air that I was suggesting to you, he would probably be in that same position, probably say that, no, he's wrong, I'm right. You know, I really feel like he would have that kind of attitude. Hopefully I'm wrong. But.
And I think a lot of that is a conditioning that we've been under, of where we have to look towards those that are labeled. Well, there we go again, how we're labeled as an expert, because you got a PhD, MDD, a MAA, whatever you got. And that right there is supposed to give you that accreditation to where you're the person that should be speaking only. If you don't have that you can't speak. So, but everybody can be an expert in their own right. You know, it's just more so what are you trying to focus on? Say that again?
I like Jamal Williams, by the way.
I know, I say about
he recognizes, like, I grew up outside of DC. I used to listen to go-go music. Like Chuck Brown, EU, and I used to DJ in gentlemen's clubs, and I used to make jokes, like after talking to some people about music, and I started talking to them about some of the roots of music and start talking about go because go-go is like a precursor.
So is go-go still going on? Because I remember 20 years ago when I was in DC.
It is, but it's a DC thing.
I know. So I remember, and it was like, just this is off subject, but it was maybe I was my early 20s, went to DC, went to a nightclub, and got introduced to go-go music, and the style of dance was just whatever. People were it was just doing whatever, and I was like, I was loving it because you didn't have to have no skills.
Yeah, it's just free spirited, man.
But it was nice though. I dig that though.
Yeah, we just tell a lot of rappers like you don't know your history of music if you don't know what go-go music is, because without go-go you really wouldn't have hip-hop aside from the sampling that was used from other forms of music, because it was kind of like a live precursor to what people started looping.
Yeah, everybody sampling every damn thing.
Like I think it was Rare Essence that song Big Old Butt.
So somebody from
Mike's
DC,
got a big old butt. Oh yeah.
So DC Precise says, "Say what? Go-go will never die out here." I haven't heard the word go-go in literally damn near 20 years. So I'm thinking it was just a fad that came through.
It's live and well. And if Chuck Brown's still alive, I'm sure he's celebrated. I'm sure he's selling out every time he plays. But it is a very very DC thing.
Yeah. Go dance. Oh man. What else we got here? Justin Castro, where was his?
I gotta look up white albino now.
Don't forget.
See what it says.
Oh, what albino is?
A white albino.
And so let me see here.
It's showing some weird pictures. I guess I could resemble that. Can albinos be white? People with albinism often have white or very light blonde hair.
It says so. I looked up the quick definition real quick, and that's something I've been using the word melanin and melanated and just referring to myself more because I don't want to be called an African American because I've never been to Africa, but I am an American.
Right.
So it says
Caucasian. I've never been to the Caucasus Mountains. I'm not Asian.
A human being who is congenitally deficient in pigment and usually has a milky or translucent skin, white or colorless hair, an eye with a pink or blue iris.
I got
deep red pupil.
This is sun, and this is no sun. So this is like albino, and this is like a little bit of Native American that I have in me. Native American, albino. Native American or Welsh, I should say.
Yeah. So when I think of like the word albino, I think of someone who literally from top down, they literally are all the way pale. And I've seen what would be considered, I guess, black albino people as well, just because of their genetic structure or whatnot, their hair texture, but they lacked melanin. You know what I'm saying? So I can tell that they were not.
It's weird because it looks almost, if we're saying black and white, it almost looks white.
Yeah.
Like an albino black person almost looks white.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of non-white
the features and everything else. I'm like,
it throws you off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's different. But that's but those are all to me all labels, man. Because underneath we're all, we all bleed the same.
It is. And I've been trying to get away from that, but like having a YouTube channel and calling myself like a journalist or a researcher, it's still a label. But I need to utilize those things. But I've been trying not to use. Like I don't consider myself a Christian. I follow the teachings of Christ, and I try to be more Christ-like than Christians. Like I call it practicing Christian, a practicing Christian, like a practicing Buddhist.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to shed a lot of those kind of labels. Like I don't identify as an anarchist, not to alienate people, and also because of how sometimes socially norm definitions don't actually match up with etymology. Now the word has become like a bad word.
Very true. And so not off subject, but the person mentioned about look up American in Webster's Dictionary 1828. And so it says American pertaining to America, and the noun is a native. We got a call here. Let's get this call real quick. Let me see here. I'll get to this call. But it says a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to descendants of the European born in America. So the copper-colored races Really? Aboriginals. Okay.
Well, see,
So
I don't
yeah.
think the word white started being used until like maybe around the early colonial time periods, like the revolutionary time period, or right after, like early America, because they didn't want the poor white people and the slaves to ban up.
Yeah, I think like the word Caucasian and the word Negro, because I was talking to somebody in the community about how, and I even asked my mother, and her birth certificate says Negro, mine says I think African American or something like that. So within that 30-year time frame, I'm assuming during the civil rights period is when they changed it from Negro to African American or whatever. So,
well, if you're brown, pink, yellow, whatever color, and you're born in another country, like let's say Germany, what are you?
You're European.
You're German.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how it used to be. If you didn't matter what color you were, if wherever you were from is what you were. It was then they started these divide and conquer strategies, and here we are.
Yeah, it works. So we got to call Paper Money Bags join us real quick. We got this call. Hello, call. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Mike, Steve again, FEMA Region 9.
How you doing, Steve?
Two things, and I'll take it off air. With the passport thing that you were talking about, I heard about that also. But is there anything in the small print that you guys are aware of? Is there anything in the small print? Let's say if I decide to go to Medellin, and then I'm trying to come back, and then they go, "Hey, didn't you hear about?" I haven't heard anything about U.S. citizens that are abroad trying to come back. Do you guys know anything about that? And then the other thing is, does your guest know anything about those UK FEMA camps, etc.? And I'll take it off here.
All right, good deal.
All right.
I've heard about the FEMA camp stuff, but I haven't, I'm not witness to any of it, so I can't. And none of it's like necessary. It's not like Walmart where it's got a sign.
Yeah,
it's not like out there just saying, "Hey, FEMA camp right here."
Yeah.
There's some things that look like they could be FEMA camps. But I like very conclusive hard evidence as much as possible. Now, I think China, in Canada, I think that they've actually talked about these quarantine camps.
Yeah, and I saw a document recently.
That's a little bit more factual when you're spelling out really for real, but like all the FEMA stuff. Now, see, one thing I'm curious about was Donald Trump put us in a state of emergency in 2020. All the states in a state of emergency, which really technically could have and maybe did, and we don't know, activated FEMA.
It did, because FEMA was from that point on, everything I remember hearing was about, FEMA led. FEMA got the funds. FEMA's distributing funds. FEMA.
But the president was still running the country at that time. If FEMA would have had the power to take over the country, they would have had that element. They never exercised that. Just like Donald Trump being the president, first and only president, in I guess since Lincoln, where we've had all states in a state of emergency. So there could have been a weird exercise of power happening that way, but I don't know if that carries through with the administrations or if it's like reset, because FEMA could be in charge and we don't know it, and they don't want us to know it.
I would be willing to bet that FEMA, I would probably assume FEMA's still in charge, because I'm still hearing FEMA distributing funds or whatever. And I don't really believe Biden is in the actual White House. So that's just my suspicion there. What up, Paper Money Bags?
How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on with you, man?
Trying to stomach it, man. I'm just listening in. I got a question. Why? Okay, let's go back. I'm trying to back up, and when we was talking about like the color and everything, I think that's one of America's problem. Why do we have to tie ourselves to bondage? Why do we have to be connected to something? Why do each individual have to be resonated to something?
You're right. It's conditioning, man. This is the way that we've been, not only we've been raised, but the people that raised us that were raised, and the people that raised them that were raised. And it's this cycle. So it's a matter of us waking up from this and starting to detach, and having conversations like this do help. Because I wouldn't have said a couple months ago, should I use the word African American or black? I just would have said like what I thought was the most politically prudent thing to say. So I'm trying to be more conscious of all of it. So having these kind of conversations and you saying what you just said makes me think and makes me want to be more mindful about this.
Most
so I appreciate you
definitely.
saying that.
I always tell. I used to do this experiment with people. I'll be like, point to your nose, and they point to their nose. They point to your eyes, point to your eyes, point to your mouth, point to your. I say, when I look at myself, all the stuff you just pointed is in the same spot on me. We all the same. Like I can't find one human on this earth, and I'll tell every human on this earth, let me know another human that you know that's on another planet. You don't know nothing. I
Elon Musk,
mean,
maybe, I don't know.
I think we
Jeff
create a lot of
Bezos.
problems for ourselves, just like our military, our governments. They create problems because we have no problems. And when you have a society that doesn't have problems, we don't literally create chaos amongst ourselves. It's created for us. We are thrown into debacles. When our United States government was created, why did they have to create two different sides? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why couldn't we have one side to begin with? If we're an army of one, like, okay, let's use, because I'm a military man. There's an army of one, but there isn't two divisions of the army. You see what I'm saying? It's an army of one. I can't go over here and be like, oh, that's the section of the army over there. It's a section of no. It's all an army. Now you might have the Navy, but that's the branch of the military. You see what I'm saying? So they created it with division.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything's been that way. I mean, before, I think we had, or maybe at the same time period of governments, religion did a lot of the same thing.
All the denominations.
I think the theys, the who's, the long-term plan of the patient ones that had been well meticulously going on for probably centuries. They foresaw all this.
Yeah. And speaking of which, gentlemen, let's take. I was going to take a call since we got some calls coming in.
Sweet.
Have a little fun with it. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Paul from Eugene, Oregon.
Paul from Eugene, Oregon. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, not much, man. I'm listening to this conversation, and I've been into the Rastafarian religion since I was a teenager, and Selassie was talking about looking, something beyond race and color of our skin and the color of our eyes, and something looking up to. I think he was a modern prophet, and people overlook. They think it's all just a bunch of people who, because Rastafari was kind of infiltrated by the mainstream and pop culture, but it was all about getting in the woods and getting in touch with nature, and that was all created by what Selassie was doing and his bloodline. And I don't know if you looked into that at all, Mike.
I've heard of it. I've watched the documentary or two, but I'm not too familiar with it like that. So
yeah, but he Selassie was talking about race doesn't matter. We need to get beyond that. The color of our skin. And Bob Marley, that song "War" was just the speech that Selassie gave to the League of Nations. So I don't know if you looked into that at all. And then the other thing, just to the definition of vaccines is, to create immunity against the disease. So you should be safe from anyone who's not. You should be immune, basically. You shouldn't have to worry about the unvaccinated. So they're contradicting themselves. So it's just lunatic logic. Either if a person thinks that they're in danger from someone who's not vaccinated, then that's just crazy logic. If they're getting the vaccination, it just contradicts everything that they're getting vaccinated for. So
people have lost their damn mind these days. Hey, man, appreciate you calling, my friend.
Okay. So the conclusion is either the vaccine doesn't work or they got a fast one pulled. They got the wool pulled over them. They've been hoodwinked. Anyway, sorry, Mike. I don't want to take up too much time, and I'm gonna get off of here, man. Thanks a lot.
You're good. Yeah, I think a little bit of both. They got the wool pulled over their eyes, and the damn things don't work.
Hey, for you, just so you don't look bad, and I would just tell people if they're gonna. I don't know how you feel about this, and you can tell me I'm wrong. But your callers that are calling in, just realize that we are living in a day and age of censorship, and they're looking for reasons to take down our channels.
Yeah.
So when you call in and you're talking about something that may be controversial or something like that, be careful about the words that you use and choose. Maybe use different words in place of other things so that you're not saying certain things, so that you're not bringing any unwanted attention to Mike's channel, because we need to have Rethinking the Dollar existing and not be taken down for some slip of the tongue.
Good point. And I myself get caught up as well sometimes, just because I have had no issues.
I just want to look out, man. Yeah,
I appreciate that.
It sucks. It really does suck to censor ourselves.
Yeah, and that's the part I don't get. Like, you might as well create our own page.
Yeah, but then we're going to be in an echo chamber. That's the thing. I'm already on other platforms and utilizing them and doing exclusive things. But the thing is, Google is the largest search engine, and the second largest search engine is YouTube. And YouTube is not even a search engine. So utilizing this platform is the way that you reach new people. And that's who needs to hear this information, not the people who have been listening to Mike for years. Because they've been listening to Mike for years. Mike's been preparing people for quite some time. Yeah. So it's the new people that we need to reach. And that's why, like I was telling Mike, we had a choice of doing the conversation that we did uncensored on Odyssey, or choose the words carefully and do it on YouTube. And then if I do something on Odyssey like that, that's uncensored, so I don't have to worry about any censorship or losing my channel, because I have 2 strikes on YouTube. I have 15 more days for my first strike to expire. But if I get a strike in the next 15 days, my channel's gone. That's it. So, I think utilizing the platform, using the weapons of the system against itself is the best way of putting it.
And at the end of the day, man, we got to find out, like you said, reaching people. You can reach as many people as you want a day. It could be 1 million, but if you're not making sure that the people are practicing exactly what we're talking about, if they're not going home behind closed doors and actual exercising some of these activities to change or to research or up their ante, it's all for nothing. We just having a campfire.
Yeah, but then that's another double-edged sword, because you really can't tell people what to do. All you can do is provide people with enough good information and hope that you're able to connect with them enough to do exactly what you're wanting the outcome to be. Because you're not. When I started this, I wanted to save everybody. You can't save everybody, because not everybody wants to save themselves.
So, if they show up, I look at it this way. Mike, you got a platform. I would tell my people, look, if you're here for a reason. So it is for change. I'm not here to debate. This is what the platform is for. To awareness, bring people, and to give them not only opportunity, but a voice. I'm trying to find the words, just an opportunity. Some people don't even know where to start, man.
Yeah. And that's why it started with just like rethinking the dollar based upon my travels, my awareness of the monetary system, but it's ventured out beyond that now, because it's bigger than a monetary system. It's about the monetary system, but now we're experiencing something that's, impacting our lives on every front, to where, how can I say that? What can I say? Because I'm in the ship as well. So it's like, what am I doing? I might be a step or two ahead of the curve, but I'm not immune from everything. So that's why I always say, from a spiritual standpoint, I'm not going to worry. I'm going to put my faith in the Lord and let him do what he do, and realize that, this life is not permanent. So there will come an ending. Now, I hope I have a long life to live ahead of me, but I know also at some point I'm going to lay it down myself. So when, how, where, I don't know, but I ain't going to put all my hope and faith in just this world. So that's how I try to stay sane and stay encouraged.
All right.
Is Riley saying where he's from based off the region that he lives in?
Do you see that? So we do FEMA regions over here. So a lot of people check in from their FEMA regions.
Oh wow, I need to find out what region I'm in.
And so that's the thing, like it's FEMA regions.
Yeah, they're definitely.
There's all types of.
Me alive.
Let me see here, images. Let me see. There's all types of maps out there. So I'll pop this boy up here. So here you go, Rice.
Okay, so I'm in number 4.
You're in 4.
I'm in number 4.
I'm in 5.
What's who's in 4 there? That's
Heavy Money Bags in 6. So here's the thing. These are geographical maps that they've constructed for their own purposes, and each one of these locations have a synchronized plan as to how they're going to track, trace, monitor, and do whatever else they plan on doing to humanity within these jurisdictions. So, what'd you say?
I'm just looking at this, and the region number 6,
Mm-hmm.
oddly enough, on its own, looks like the continent of the United States.
It's funny.
I know it means nothing.
Yeah.
It's just one of these odd things that just like popped out at me when I was looking at it, because it's like it looks like the United States inside the United States in a way. It's weird.
That's baby money bags region.
You in Texas?
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
Texas native.
Shout out to Governor Abbott.
No, we're not gonna do that.
I'm appreciating the standing up to the federal government. Maybe there's something I don't know, but
yeah, no, it's just he doing a lot of things. Listen, if you do anything that harm the citizens here, and it like we had a discussion last night, like it has to make sense. There's a lot of people here in Texas, man, that fear safety, elderly. You got mental people. Then we got all this stuff happening in certain counties like Dallas. There's a lot of killings going on out here, and there's a lot of uneducated people. If you're gonna have a gun program, why not? If you're gonna give guns to people that's 18 to 20, why not the first thing that you do is be like, we're gonna have a program set up to where if you get through it, and you pass, then you're obligated to purchase this weapon. No, this fugazi guy sits up and says, you know what? September 1st, if you're 18 to 20, you can just go get a gun. You don't need a license. You don't need any training. Are you crazy? So you mean to tell me when I signed up for the military, why in the hell you give us training? Why did you give us training then? Why? And you gave us extensive training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Shout out to y'all out there in Lawton. But I'm just saying, so now these people who have no training, no brain, like I said, they don't even know where to go and pay a light bill at. They're still staying in their mom's house. They probably got 5 Dracos up under the bed, 3 handguns. Craig just said something crazy to him in school. This is graduating year. He don't know he's finna go out with a bang. He's gonna show up, blow his brains out. Don't graduate, go to jail. All these things can happen. So if I'm thinking like this is the way they think in politics. They premeditate things. That's how they make laws against them.
Yeah, see, I get what you're saying. Oddly enough, being that I'm from the DC area, I actually used to work for the National Rifle Association. I'm not pro-gun, but I'm pro-Constitution. Now, when I say I'm not pro-gun, I'm going to correct that. I'm pro-gun. I don't own a gun, but I believe in the right to be able to bear and own firearms. But I also, and this is one of my biggest arguments for back then, in school, in public education, if we're teaching like sex ed, we should be doing gun education.
Right.
Because there needs to be education on these firearms, because when you're looking at a lot of the death statistics, there's a lot of accidental deaths with younger people because they do not, or even individuals who don't handle firearms on a regular basis, who don't know what they're doing. So teaching basic firearm education like they would with driver's ed, when they show all these I remember watching graphic movies of car accidents, seeing all these different things that just put in your mind like how awful of a tragedy this would be if you got in an accident, who you could potentially hurt aside from yourself. And then it makes people want to be more careful. If you're not only learning how to use a firearm properly and all those kind of things, but then also seeing all the consequences aside from the news and all that in an educational format. So I've always pushed for gun education,
right?
But telling people they can't own firearms, I'm not good with. But I get your point of view. If they're allowing people to just anyone to purchase a firearm, that's not necessarily cool, because there's some people that have proven themselves that they should not own a firearm.
You just don't even know,
or don't even know how to act. So you
don't know the mental capacity of people. You don't know people who are in the middle of a broken home. You don't know of the kid that's being abused, and he knowing by law he just can't go get a gun and blast dad because dad beat him. Oh, now I can know. Starting September 1st, all the stuff that I've been holding up and the things that I've been going through, I can just lash out because I'm not going through counseling. I'm not doing nothing. But I got this gun. Yeah. And guns make people go away, make problems go away. They create problems and they make problems go away. So all they just say.
What's going to be sad is that over this last year, a lot of kids have suffered from mental illness. I'm assuming a lot of kids might have been put on all types of medications and whatnot, because all those drugs are what causes people to flip. It's the drugs that cause people to take something that's innocent in nature. It's used for protection, or it's used to take a life. And so you got a mentally unstable child with no guidance, with no training, with no probably parental consent to be able to actually hold one and carry one and protect themselves. Those are the kids that are putting themselves in danger as well as others. So that's the spooky part about it, because the mental health side is still an issue in this country.
I'm all for weapons. Just make sure, just like we been having it, go get registered, get a license, you pass the course, you good. Just keep it simple.
Keeping it simple, if people just live with the mindset of treating people how they want to be treated, none of this would be an issue.
Good point.
Yeah, but that's too old school.
You would think that would be really simple. It's like
you'd be surprised how people want to be treated these days.
Or don't mind being treated.
I'm not talking about
the music. I was talking about earlier the music. Like the music, the music tells you exactly how people think life really is. Either the slanging, banging, ganging, how they treat their women. And so literally people have been conditioned with that from childbirth till now, to where they literally think that that's how you treat a woman, how you treat yourself, how you talk to you. So the culture is too strong, and it's been too corrupted and tainted. And so it's unfortunate. It's no turning back from this point, man. Oh my goodness.
That's true.
I like what Warris says. Warris Janata. That's a nice little statement.
Where you at?
Second to last comment.
Second to last. Warris. Yeah. Let me see here. Arm yourself. Don't harm yourself. Oh man. All right. Well, gentlemen, we're about an hour 30-minute mark, man. It was good.
I'm enjoying it.
Bags, you got in a little bit late, but you know what I'm saying, but you got in, so I appreciate you joining us, man.
We got to do this more often, man.
Definitely. So, so what made me decide to do just to open, letting the community speak is like, it's good to be able to hear different viewpoints, different people's analysis. Everybody here got experience in something, and bring it all together. We can get a better understanding of what's going on and how to navigate these waters. So that was my goal. So I'm definitely gonna do more of these. So I'll put the buzz out ahead of time. So, Rice, you definitely, man, you're always welcome to come kick it with us, and we're gonna definitely connect one-on-one. So it's always good. Pay money bags. Appreciate you, man, for what you do as well, boss. Keeping us on our toes.
Likewise. I appreciate you for having me.
All right, gentlemen. I'm about to get rid of you guys, and then hang on for a second, Rice. Let me log out, and we'll talk for a quick little minute.
Cool.
All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this newer format of just covering some stories, ranting a little bit, opening the phone lines, and then giving you guys a chance to connect with us face to face. So what I want to do is basically make sure you guys are aware that we're going to try to do this format moving forward. And so I want to encourage you to participate. So definitely, hit the thumbs up button, share these videos, let your people know what's going on, and hopefully join us face to face and let your voice be heard. Other than that, be blessed, be safe, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.